The Spanish Armada and Elizabethan England are pivotal elements in understanding Queen Elizabeth I's strategic prowess. The Spanish Armada refers to a massive fleet sent by Spain in 1588 to invade England. It was a key event marking the conflict between Catholic Spain, led by King Philip II, and Protestant England under Queen Elizabeth I. This encounter is not merely a historical clash of naval forces, but a representation of a deeper struggle for religious and political dominance in Europe. Elizabethan England, on the other hand, was a period marked by flourishing arts, exploration, and the consolidation of English national identity. The significance of this in relation to Queen Elizabeth I's so-called secret weapon lies in her ability to leverage the resources, intelligence, and innovative tactics available to her to outwit the seemingly invincible Spanish fleet. It underscores how Elizabeth's leadership and the collective ingenuity of her advisors helped create an effective defense strategy that capitalized on the strengths and weaknesses of both nations. Two notable examples highlight this point. Firstly, the use of fire ships, vessels set ablaze and sent into the Spanish formation to cause panic and disarray, demonstrates English tactical innovation. These fire ships forced the Spanish Armada into disarray, preventing them from anchoring safely and regrouping. Secondly, the English Navy's strategic advantage of more maneuverable and faster ships played a crucial role, along with the unfavorable weather conditions termed the Protestant wind, which scattered the Spanish ships, showcasing a combination of tactical acumen and fortunate circumstances. Some historians argue that Elizabeth's decision to face the threat with a unified front, rallying her troops at Tilbury with a famous speech, demonstrated her leadership's psychological impact, inspiring national confidence and resilience. However, challenges to this narrative include differing viewpoints that credit the bad weather over military strategy for England's victory. Additionally, critics might argue that Spain's overextension and logistical failures, rather than English cunning, were more instrumental in the Armada's defeat. This context of Elizabethan England's naval defense strategy connects deeply with other aspects of Elizabeth's reign, including her political diplomacy and nation-building efforts. Victory over the Armada solidified her status as a formidable ruler and positioned England as a rising maritime power. It influenced the nation's future naval endeavours and the growth of the British Empire, proving the strategic importance of naval mastery and innovative warfare in establishing and maintaining power on the world stage. The political and religious tensions between England and Spain during the late 16th century were pivotal in shaping the conflict that culminated in the defeat of the Spanish Armada. At the heart of these tensions was a profound clash of interests and ideologies. England under Queen Elizabeth I was Protestant, while Spain, led by King Philip II, was staunchly Catholic. This religious divide was exacerbated by political ambitions, as Spain sought to assert dominance in Europe and beyond, a goal directly threatened by England's growing naval power and colonial pursuits. This tension is significant to understanding how Queen Elizabeth I managed to outsmart the formidable Spanish Armada. The religious discord provided Elizabeth with both a motive and means to rally her nation against a common enemy, fostering a sense of unity and purpose among her subjects. It also offered opportunities for alliances with other Protestant nations anxious to curb Spanish hegemony, indirectly bolstering England's strategic position. A notable example of these tensions can be seen in the papal excommunication of Elizabeth in 1570, which not only declared her illegitimate, but also incited Catholic plots against her throne. This heightened animosity and emboldened Philip II's resolve to dethrone Elizabeth, viewing the invasion as both a spiritual crusade and a political conquest. Another example is the execution of Mary, Queen of Scots, in 1587, a Catholic figurehead and a potential puppet queen for Spain. Her execution eliminated a key Spanish ally and reaffirmed Elizabeth's defiance against Catholic monarchies. Opinions supporting the significance of these tensions argue that conquest. Another example is the execution of Mary, Queen of Scots, in 1587, a Catholic figurehead and a potential puppet queen for Spain. Her execution eliminated a key Spanish ally and reaffirmed Elizabeth's defiance against Catholic monarchies. Opinions supporting the significance of these tensions argue that without the religious and ideological differences, the conflict between England and Spain might have been more contained or even avoidable. Critics, however, suggest that economic considerations, such as control over lucrative trade routes, were equally influential, indicating a multifaceted rivalry. These tensions also presented challenges and controversies, notably in the form of espionage and covert operations, which both nations employed extensively. The ethical implications of such tactics, along with the severe consequences for those accused of treason, added layers of complexity to the conflict. Ultimately, the political and religious tensions deeply influenced Elizabeth's strategies and decisions. They provided her with both a justification and a rallying point for national defense, shaping alliances and tactics that were crucial in outmaneuvering the Spanish Armada. This clash not only defined the era, but also laid the groundwork for England's rise as a global naval power, influencing the geopolitical landscape for years to come. In the 16th century, naval power was a critical determinant of a nation's international influence and security. It was the era when maritime strength began to define empires, enabling control over trade routes, colonization, and military dominance. The strategic importance of naval power lay in the ability to project force across seas, protect national interests, and facilitate economic prosperity through trade and exploration. This was a period marked by fierce competition on the open seas, with nations like Spain and England vying for dominance. Queen Elizabeth's naval power was more than just a military asset. It was her secret weapon in outsmarting Spain's formidable Armada. The English Navy, though smaller and more agile, leveraged innovative tactics and superior seamanship to challenge the larger, less maneuverable Spanish fleet. Elizabeth's investment in her navy exemplified foresight and strategic acumen, acknowledging that naval superiority would offset Spain's considerable terrestrial might. A notable example of the strategic use of naval power was the defeat of the Spanish Armada in 1588. The English fleet, under commanders like Sir Francis Drake and Lord Charles Howard, employed nimble ships and superior tactics, such as the use of fire ships, to scatter the Spanish formation, eventually leading to a decisive victory. This victory was not only a military success, but also a moment of immense national pride, establishing England as a formidable maritime power. Another example is the use of privateers, essentially state-sanctioned pirates, who disrupted Spanish shipping lines and captured valuable treasure. Figures like Francis Drake, who was knighted for his exploits, significantly weakened Spain's economic strength and morale through their daring voyages. While many praise Elizabeth's naval policies, some critiques emerge regarding the aggressive use of privateers, which blurred the lines between piracy and statecraft. This strategy, while effective, led to diplomatic tensions and further maritime conflicts in the future. Strategic emphasis on naval power also influenced Elizabeth's broader foreign policy, expanding England's global influence through exploration and the eventual establishment of colonies. It cultivated a strong maritime tradition that laid the groundwork for the British Empire. Furthermore, this naval focus ensured the country's defense against possible invasions, thus securing its sovereignty. In summary, the strategic importance of naval power in the 16th century was a pivotal element of Queen Elizabeth I's reign. It was a linchpin in her ingenuity against Spain, illustrating how naval prowess could serve as both a defensive and offensive tool, redefining England's place on the world stage. Queen Elizabeth I's leadership and diplomatic prowess were instrumental in her reign, particularly during the threat. It was a linchpin in her ingenuity against Spain, illustrating how naval prowess could serve as both a defensive and offensive tool, redefining England's place on the world stage. Queen Elizabeth I's leadership and diplomatic prowess were instrumental in her reign, particularly during the threat posed by the Spanish Armada. Her leadership style was characterized by a strategic blend of charisma, intelligence, and adaptability, which enabled her to navigate the complex political landscape of 16th century Europe. Elizabeth's diplomatic skill was crucial for her survival and that of her nation, as she masterfully balanced power between competing European states, avoiding entanglement in costly wars while fortifying England's position as a burgeoning maritime power. The significance of Elizabeth's leadership in the context of outsmarting Spain's Armada lies in her ability to forge alliances and maintain national unity during a time of potential crisis. By supporting Protestant rebels in the Netherlands and building a formidable navy, she not only weakened Spain's influence, but also secured a strategic advantage for England. Furthermore, her ability to inspire and rally her people around a shared national identity was pivotal, particularly with her famous Tilbury speech, which galvanized English forces and instilled a sense of resolve against the Spanish threat. Two key examples illustrate Elizabeth's diplomatic prowess. Firstly, her careful courtship of various European suitors, including Philip II of Spain himself, allowed her to maintain a delicate balance of power, delaying hostilities until England was sufficiently prepared. Secondly, her support for privateers like Sir Francis Drake disrupted Spanish shipping and raided their treasure fleets, undermining Spain's economic power and funding English naval expeditions. Supporters of the view that Elizabeth's leadership was her secret weapon often highlight her intuitive understanding of European politics and her ability to play adversaries against one another, thus securing her realm's safety and prosperity. However, some critics argue that her indecisiveness in certain matters such as her hesitance to wholeheartedly support the Protestant cause in Europe, risked undermining her alliances. Challenges to Elizabeth's approach included managing the religious tensions within her own